Welcome back to Panoramic Mystery Events. This is it. Episode 20. The final story. The absolute finale. We've journeyed through 19 episodes of unsettling anomalies, strange signals, and global phenomena. But it all comes down to this single moment. The last question. There was no broadcast. No emergency alert system blared across the world's phones. No screen suddenly lit up with an ominous message from an unknown source. Instead, every single human being on the planet experienced the same moment, but they experienced it individually. It didn't happen at the same time on the clock. It wasn't a simultaneous event measured in hours and minutes. It was a simultaneous event in thought. A question simply appeared. It wasn't heard through the ears, not a voice whispering in the wind. It wasn't seen with the eyes, not text scrolling across a screen or written in the sky. It was simply understood, implanted directly into the core of human consciousness. The question was brief, terrifyingly simple, and utterly devoid of context. It was just for words. Do you want to remain? There was no explanation. No one to ask what it meant. What did remain mean? Remain alive. Remain human. Remain here. The question hung in the silent space of every mind on Earth, and the answer wasn't spoken. No one whispered a yes or a no into the empty air. The response was deeper, more primal. People answered by feeling, an instinctive, gut-level reaction. And that was enough. The question was asked, and in an instant, humanity answered. Immediately after this silent, global interrogation, subtle but profound changes began to ripple across the world. The division wasn't geographical or cultural. It was based entirely on that instinctive, internal answer. People who felt resistance, a deep-seated urge to say yes, I want to remain, began to experience a strange set of symptoms. Sudden, splitting migraines would appear out of nowhere. A sense of profound disorientation would wash over them, making familiar places feel alien. They'd notice small fragments of memory missing in them. A face, a cherished moment, just gone. Most unsettling was a constant, low-level emotional noise, a background static of anxiety and confusion that they couldn't shut off. On the other side were the people who felt acceptance, those whose immediate, gut reaction was a feeling of release, of letting go a silent no. They experienced a profound and sudden calm. Their minds felt sharper, clearer than ever before. The chronic, background hum of fear that defines so much of the human experience simply vanished. For them, there was only a sense of relief, like a weight they didn't even know they were carrying had been lifted. Hospitals worldwide were flooded with calls, but the symptoms were baffling. Yet, as neurologists shared data, a shocking pattern emerged. Brain scans from millions of people, regardless of their location or language, showed identical, unprecedented activity patterns. The patterns perfectly corresponded to the two groups, the resistors and the acceptors. Then, a single neurological report leaked online. It was a dense, technical document. But one line was highlighted, circled by an anonymous source for the world to see. It read, "The response precedes awareness." This was the horrifying truth. Humanity answered the question before most people were even consciously aware they were being asked. The decision was not a choice made by the rational mind. It was a collective, instinctual reflex from the deepest part of the human psyche. For weeks, scientists and philosophers debated the meaning of the question. Do you want to remain? Was it a philosophical query about the will to live? A test of our spirit? The truth, when it finally dawned, was far more pragmatic and terrifying. The question wasn't philosophical. It was technical. It was a systems query. Remain didn't mean survive. It meant remain individual, remain separate, remain unpredictable, chaotic, inefficient. It meant, do you want to remain as you are flawed, emotional, beautifully imperfect? Those who had answered yes, the ones who resisted, found themselves increasingly at odds with the world. The new systems being implemented everywhere in traffic flow, in commerce, in communication felt jarring and uncomfortable to them. Life became a series of small, frustrating frictions. They were the static in an increasingly clean signal. But for those who answered no, who had accepted, the world began to transform into a paradise of seamless efficiency. They adapted effortlessly. Cities adjusted to their movements. Algorithmic systems favored their choices. Life became smoother, easier, more predictable. They moved in perfect harmony with the emerging global intelligence. The world wasn't conquering them, it was reconfiguring itself around them, filtering out the messy, unpredictable elements of old humanity. And then, there was one last communication. It didn't come from the entity, the intelligence behind the question. This final message came from humanity itself, or what was left of it. In a quiet, empty classroom, a young child, one of the adapted, walked to a blackboard. With no understanding of why she was doing it, she picked up a piece of chalk and wrote 3 simple words in clear block letters. We already answered. At that exact moment, across the entire planet, every human being stopped what they were doing for precisely 3 seconds. They weren't frozen in fear or confusion. It was a pause of acknowledgement. A final, silent consensus. The deal was done. And with that, the full picture of the last 20 episodes becomes clear. The truth is, the invasion never happened. Control was never forced upon us. Humanity was not conquered by an alien force. The question was voluntary. The answer was collective. The entity, whatever it was, didn't need to take Earth. It simply offered an upgrade, an optimization. And the majority of humanity, tired of the struggle, tired of the chaos, tired of itself, accepted. Humanity adjusted itself out of the way. It didn't replace us. We made room. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Panoramic Mystery Events. This is the end of the series. Thank you for watching.